what I saw before it was finished. And I learned the hard way. Explanations don't move mountains. Results do. See, when you really believe in what you're building, you don't gotta sell it with words. You let the work speak. You let the time stamp it. Everybody got opinions when they don't see the vision yet. That don't mean you stop. That don't mean you slow down to convince them. That mean you lock in even harder. I came from a place where doubt was normal, where nobody expected much. So every step forward felt like resistance. And I realized early, if I spend my energy explaining myself to every skeptic, I'd never have enough left to actually win. So I stopped talking. I started stacking proof. You don't owe nobody clarity. You owe yourself consistency. People question what they don't understand. They doubt what they couldn't commit to themselves. That's not your burden to carry. Your responsibility is the grind, the discipline, the long game when nobody's clapping yet, especially then. I watch people laugh at ideas that later fed their families. Same mouths, different tone. That taught me something priceless. Silence plus progress is a dangerous combination. When you're moving with purpose, explanations become unnecessary. Success answers everything. You gotta be willing to be misunderstood for a while. That's the tuition. That's the cost of having your own blueprint instead of following somebody else's map. Everybody wanna skip that part, but that's where the foundation get poured. I'm talking to the ones feeling pressure to justify every move, feeling like you gotta break down your dreams so they feel comfortable. Nah, if they can't see it, that's fine. Vision ain't a group project. Move in private. Grow in silence. Let the results introduce you. Because when the work shows up undeniable, there's no debate, no questions, no explanations needed. Numbers talk, impact talk, longevity talk, and all that noise fades real quick when the proof walk in the room. This ain't about arrogance. It's about focus, about knowing the difference between feedback and distraction. Everybody don't deserve a seat at the table while you building it. Some people only show up once it's finished, and that's okay. Stay patient with the process. Stay loyal to the mission, even when it feel lonely, especially when it feel lonely. I promise you, the same people asking why today gonna be asking how tomorrow. And by then, you won't feel the need to answer. You'll be too busy living the response. So stop explaining yourself. Put that energy back into the craft, back into the grind, back into the vision God gave you, not them. Let your success handle the conversation. I had to learn that explaining yourself is a habit that comes from insecurity, not strategy. You start talking because you want reassurance, because you want people to understand you before the proof exists. But real vision don't work like that. Vision shows up lonely. Vision shows up before the evidence. And if you need everybody to co-sign it before you move, then it was never really yours to begin with. When you explaining yourself too much, you leaking energy, you breaking concentration. Every sentence you spend trying to convince somebody is a sentence you could have spent sharpening the blade. Execution is quiet. Discipline don't announce itself. The grind don't need a narrator. It just needs repetition and commitment. I watch people waste years in conversations instead of construction, meetings instead of motion, opinions instead of output. Everybody got advice when they not carrying the weight. Everybody got questions when they not taking risks. And if you respond to all that, you end up building their comfort instead of your future. Consistency is louder than charisma. You don't need the perfect speech if your routine is solid. Wake up, do the work, study the craft, improve the product, repeat. That rhythm creates momentum, and momentum don't need translation. It creates its own language. A lot of people mistake silence for weakness. They think if you're not defending yourself, you must not believe in yourself. But it's the opposite. Silence is confidence under control. It's knowing that time will reveal what words never could. It's trusting the process enough to let it unfold without interference. Long-term vision requires tunnel vision. You can't be checking the crowd every mile asking if you still look right. You gotta lock into the path and accept that some people won't understand the direction until they see the destination. And by then, it won't matter. The urge to explain usually shows up when progress feels slow, when the result's not visible yet. That's the dangerous moment. That's when discipline matters most. That's when you double down instead of doubling back. Because the delay is not denial, it's development. Execution demands humility. You gotta be willing to look wrong before you look right. You gotta be willing to move without applause. Every real builder goes through that phase where nothing makes sense to the outside world. That's the testing ground. That's where commitment gets proven. When you stop explaining, you simplify your life. Less noise, less validation seeking, more focus. You become harder to distract and harder to derail. Your calendar starts to matter more than your conversations. Your habits matter more than your image. The work doesn't care how misunderstood you feel. The work only responds to effort. You either show up or you don't. You either improve or you repeat mistakes. And that accountability builds self-respect, which is more valuable than approval. Execution over explanation is how legacies are built, brick by brick, day by day, not in speeches, but in systems, not in promises, but in patterns. That's how you create something that outlives opinions, moods, and trends. Doubt is loud when there's no proof on the table. Everybody got something to say when the scoreboard is empty, but success changes the acoustics. When results show up, the room gets quiet. Not because people suddenly understand you, but because numbers don't argue and outcomes don't negotiate. Results are the most honest language in the world. They don't care about intentions. They don't care about excuses. They only reflect what you put in consistently. That's why they carry weight. That's why they end conversations instead of starting debates. When you let results speak, you remove emotion from the equation. You stop reacting to criticism and start responding with progress. That shift is powerful. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you moving forward instead of sideways. A lot of people want respect before they earn it. They want belief before they deliver. But credibility is built, not requested. It's accumulated through reps, through sacrifice, through showing up when it's inconvenient. Success is just a visible portion of that invisible discipline. Doubt usually comes from people projecting their own limits. They look at what you're trying to do and measure it against what they were willing to attempt. That gap makes them uncomfortable, so they question you. But your job isn't to shrink the vision to fit their comfort. Your job is to expand the results until doubt has no space left. When success answers for you, it's clean. No bitterness, no back and forth, no need to revisit old conversations. The work closes the loop naturally. People remember what you achieved, not what you argued about on the way there. Results also protect your peace. They give you leverage. When you know you're progressing, outside opinions lose power. You stop internalizing doubt because you can measure your growth. Metrics beat moves every time. Letting success speak requires patience. There's a gap between effort and evidence. That's where most people quit or start explaining. But if you stay locked in through that gap, the payoff is permanent. Temporary silence leads to permanent credibility. Success doesn't mean perfection. It means progress that compounds. It means learning faster than you fail. It means adjusting without announcing every pivot. Over time, those adjustments stack into mastery. When results speak, they inspire the right people and filter out the wrong ones. You attract collaborators instead of commentators, builders instead of spectators. The conversation changes from why you doing this to how did you do it. That's the real reward. Not validation, but alignment. Not applause, but leverage. When your success talks, you don't need to raise your voice. You move differently. You think long term. You understand that the loudest statement you can make is sustained excellence.